"That was real important," said David's brother Donnie. "That was a very big part of growing up." Every Sunday morning, Susie Camm would dress up her 4 children in their best clothes and drive them the 10 miles to the small church on State Road 64 outside Georgetown. In the afternoon, after the service, David and his many cousins would play together in the fields. Then they'd go their respective ways to spend the evening with their parents. "The family is very close," said David's sister Julie Hogue, "especially because my mum has a very large family. We were very proud of who we were as a family, my grandpa, my aunts and uncles, and my cousins." The Lockhart family patriarch, Amos, then in his early 60s, built a special playhouse for all his grandchildren in the garden of his house on Lockhart Road in Georgetown. Affectionately known to his family as Papa, he had purchased the road a few years earlier, inviting members of his family to build houses on his land, naming it eponymously. "Our cousins were like our brothers," explained Julie. "It went way beyond our nuclear family." Don Camm was soon promoted into management at B.F. Goodrich, so in 1966 he moved his family into a larger house on Housefelt Lane in New Albany, where he and Susie Camm live to this day. In those days, Housefelt Lane was still very rural, but now it has been developed by industry. "There were a lot of cows and pastures and woods to play in," said Donnie. "We had a rural upbringing with bicycles, mini-bikes, and go-karts, and playing in the creeks, the trees, and the woods." A friend of the Camms owned a filling station, and his little nephew, Sean Clemens, sometimes played ball with David Camm, who was a couple of years older. Growing up, the boys went to the same schools, becoming friends. Over 30 years later, their lives would often intersect, with disastrous results for David. The Clemens and Lockhart families went back several generations, and one of Sean Clemens's uncles helped build Amos Lockhart's Georgetown Community Church, whose current pastor is David's uncle Leland Lockhart. They were 2 big families who grew up on McDonald Street in New Albany, said David's aunt, Debbie Tavri. "Sean's family and our family were very close." A few weeks before David was due to start at New Albany Elementary School, he had a serious accident on his bicycle. The injuries to his kidneys resulted in the highly dangerous viral infection mistresses, which caused his heart to enlarge. Mistresses, which can also be caused by strep throat, attacks and damages the membranes in the kidneys that allow blood to flow through and can disable them permanently. It takes months of treatment for a patient to recover. David was hospitalized for 4 weeks and then had to spend a semester at home being tutored. "It had gotten in through the skin," said his mother. "The doctor thought he had gotten it from his bicycle accident." David missed most of his first year of elementary school, and when he eventually was well enough to start classes, he had difficulty reading and writing and was way behind his classmates. David's small, spindly writing leaned backwards. "He had a little problem," said Susie Camm. "They didn't know it was dyslexia, but I could see it." Although he was academically challenged, David was a natural athlete and an excellent basketball player. Growing up, Donnie took special care of David, teaching him how to fish and going on long nature hikes with him. Every summer, the Camm family spent several weeks in a cabin on their Uncle Ben's spread in Jefferson, Indiana. "This was probably the biggest activity that we did as a whole family," said Donnie. "It was very secluded. There was fishing, and you could swim in the lakes, too, and there was a boat." Little David loved the outdoors, and it was here that he learned to hunt deer, although his mother maintains that the first time he went hunting, he could not bring himself to shoot his bow. "He said, 'It looked at me with his big brown eyes, and I couldn't shoot it,'" remembered Susie. "He was so tender-hearted." David was also close to his uncle Sam Lockhart, who was just starting his foundation repair company, United Dynamics Incorporated, which would end up employing many members of the Lockhart family. Actually, when he was 3 or 4 years